Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to the 8th edition of MARVEX Power Talk, brought to you by MARVEX 2021. I'm Joyce, and I'm your host for this session. I know it's been a busy week, and many of you at this hour. I want to congratulate you for being here, and we believe that today's discussion is on chemical-free and environmental-friendly solutions will open your eyes to the ever so important but shadowed by the pandemic global warming issues. Speaking of the busy week, I would like to ask all of you a quick yes and no question. So if your answer is yes, type Y in the comments and type N if your answer is no. All right, how many of you present here today has learned a new skill or picked up a new hobby during this entire pandemic from the first MCO? Personally, it's definitely a yes, as I've just indeed picked up some new skills and hobbies during this time. Many of us have been working from home for the longest time apart from the official hours. We are also very much home-based with some extra time on hand. All right. Okay, I'm seeing some replies here. There is Lillian and also Chong Ju Yi. Yes, anyone else has picked up the new skills during this pandemic or new hobbies? All right. Okay, as we wait for more. All right, we have... I guess many of you has actually picked up new skills and also new hobbies during this pandemic. We stayed at home so much that these things has also become a time fillers aside the chores and work that we have at home. All right, more coming in. Hi, Muhammad Afdal. Hi, Linda. Thank you so much. All of you have actually picked up new skills. Very good. All right, thank you so much for your participation. And to those who have just joined us, welcome to the MARVEX Power Talk. Moving on, MARVEX Power Talk is a series of on-point discussion where leaders and experts converse and deliberate about the opportunities and challenges faced by the ever-growing, reshaping, and uplifting of the air conditioning, mechanical ventilation, and refrigeration industry. This Power Talk is brought to you by MARVEX 2021, which is the inaugural ACMV and Our Business event for ASEAN, scheduled to take place this year from 1st to 4th December at Kuala Lumpur Convention Centre. MARVEX is jointly organized by MACRA and CIS and is held concurrently at Engineer, where we strive towards becoming the premier event for the primary source of ACMV and our stakeholders, while providing a unique platform for the growth and development of the industry in this region. We've prepared a short video to show you how you can leverage on this dedicated business event for your business.
MARVEX will create a new milestone for MACRA and the ACMV and our industry. We are working towards become the annual premium business and trade event. There will be an important date on the trade calendar for the industry within the ASEAN region.
MARVEX is a platform that is driven by the industry for the industry. We look forward for this platform that provides our stakeholders with business networking opportunities.
Besides the all-day exhibition, there will be an industry conference, forums, and many more exciting highlights at MARVEX.
are as excited as you are with MARVEX 2021. Be sure to stay on until the end to know how you can be part of this excitement. All right, back to today's session. Ladies and gentlemen, when you stay to the end of this Power Talk, you will learn how Green Building Certification offers a comprehensive guideline in designing and operating a highly effective ACMV system at every point of building cooling load profile. You will also understand the importance in modification of cooling tower and mechanical system, as well as the impact of using enzyme-based products in order to achieve a greener, more eco-friendly environment. If you have any questions that you would like to direct to our panelists, feel free to type in your questions and who it is directed to in the comments, and we will answer them at the end of this section. Our topic for today's Power Talk is chemical-free and environmental-friendly solutions, and we are delighted to have three special guests as today's panelists. We have technologist 𝗙𝗥𝗘𝗘𝗚, Chief Operating Officer of ESD Green 𝗘𝗡𝗘𝗡𝗃 𝗔𝗟 subsidiary, Mr. Jeremy Tang, Sales Manager specializing in projects of Bosman Technic 𝗙𝗟, and Mr. William Rodney Yeo, Managing Director of Aristech Group. Today's session is moderated by Mr. Ferdinand Ng, Director of Inner Safe 𝗙𝗟 and Chairman of Industrial Standard Committee of MACRA. Let me share a quick background to introduce our moderator for today. Mr. Ferdinand is a certified building service contractor for over 13 years since 2008. He is very involved in the green energy and sustainability activities in Malaysia, Japan, and South Korea. As a director of Inner Safe 𝗙𝗟, he strives to design and fabricate cold room, air conditioner room, hydrocarbon chiller, and hydrocarbon air conditioner for green input air conditioner, as well as electrical engineering work on energy saving system, power cabling, and etc. Ferdinand's experience and focus on promoting and creating demand on green refrigerant has led him to be one of the main contributors to the designing and building of the hydrocarbon chiller for medical factory used in Malaysia, as well as an energy-saving plan for the hydrocarbon refrigeration system. He was also appointed by CIRIM as a member of the working group to draft a standard on flammable refrigerant MS 2678-2017 Code of Practice. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's bring in Mr. Ferdinand on screen with me. Hi, Mr. Ferdinand. Hi, welcome.
Joyce.
Hi.
Yeah, and thank you for the introductions.
No problem. Over to you, Mr. Ferdinand.
Lovely. Thanks a lot. A very good afternoon and warm welcoming to all of you to MARVEX Power Talk series. I'm Ferdinand Ng, and I'm your moderator today. Global warming dilemma has always been a hot topic for a decade, and in the global arena as well. While this topic has been overshadowed by the recent COVID-19 pandemic, we have got to realize that this is a long-term battle that we need to work together for a sustainable development. Today's topics of chemical-free and environmental-friendly solutions will be discussed here, more particularly on the solutions of how could we achieve a more efficient and sustainable development. As mentioned by Joyce earlier, we have a panel of three specialists who are experts in their field to share and further discuss on this topic with us here today. And they are technologist 𝗙𝗥𝗘𝗘𝗚, Chief Operating Officer, ESD Green 𝗘𝗡𝗃𝗃𝗠𝗟 𝗔𝗟 subsidiary. Our second panelist, Mr. Jeremy Tang, Sales Manager specializing in project from Bosman Technic 𝗙𝗟. And our third panelist, Mr. William Rodney Yeo, Managing Director of Aristech Group. Before I proceed to introduce the first panelist, ladies and gentlemen, do feel free to drop your questions in the comment sections, stating to whom is your questions for, and we will do our best to answer your question at the discussions forum later on. Now, our first panelist, technologist 𝗙𝗥𝗘𝗃𝗚, is the COO of ESD Green 𝗘𝗡𝗃𝗃𝗠𝗟. With 10 years of experience in the sustainability industry, 𝗙𝗡𝗓 is well versed in sustainable building design systems and processes, which led him to consult the design and project teams in achieving energy, water, and resources efficiency building. Technologies 𝗙𝗡𝗓 has been facilitating and managing a long list of sustainable development projects while pursuing green certifications like Green RE, GBI, Green Mark, and LEED. Proficiency in high efficiency ACMV and renewable energy systems commissioning, energy audit, and energy optimization processes. He also experts in site planning and management, sustainable material selections, and purchasing as well. Water efficiency also a very expert, and technologies 𝗙𝗡𝗓 is recognized by MBOD as a professional technologist in the area of green technology. He also sits in a few industry-related committees such as Green RE Technical Panels, MGBC Sustainable Development Goals and Environmental, Social and Governance Task Force, as well as College Kemahiran Tinggi MARA Industry Advisory Panels. All right, without further ado, let me invite Technologist Ahmad 𝗙𝗡𝗓 to join me on screen.
Hello, Ferdinand. How are you?
Hi, hello, Technologist Abri. This is
Hello,
your
hello.
session to share. Lovely. This is your session to share your sustainable development to our valuable audience. Are you ready to
Thank
take
you.
over the floor?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Lovely. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks again to Ferdinand for the brief introduction, and of course, thanks to MARVEX and CIS as the organizer for today MARVEX Power Talk. I'm here today to discuss on the subject given. Of course, in general, the main topic is on chemical-free and environmentally friendly solution. Okay. The subtopic that I would like to bring to the audience is related to the main topic as well, but to focus on energy efficient ACMV from green building certification perspective. Right. Okay, so these are the outlines. I'll take a few time to introduce about our background of company, because what I'm going to explain later is related to our company main scope of work, right? And then we're going to touch as a start the impacts of COVID-19 and how it will relate to the topic that I would like to bring. Okay, and then we're going to discuss on the description of energy efficient ACMV. Okay, and next is on how do we design such system, and at the end of the day, how energy efficient system can help fight the impact of COVID-19. Okay. All right. Just a quick one on our company. We are ESD Green Tech. We focus on green building facilitating and sustainability consultancy services. We are a radar subsidiary. Basically, was developed back in 2018 to help the industry, particularly to spearhead the sustainability industry. Okay, we basically offer all type of green building services, be it Green RE, GBI, MACRA, or even internationally recognized Green Mark or LEED. And then other than that, of course, as a full-fledged ESD consultant, we provide all the services related to certification, such as energy modeling and simulation, daylight, solar, glare modeling and simulation. Okay, and of course, for existing building, we can also provide energy audit and energy optimization. Okay, just a quick one on our company. I believe now we are on the start of reopening the economy back. Okay, but since last year, our country have been impacted quite a lot by the pandemic COVID-19. So this pandemic affect many of our life aspect, from the very basic of livelihood, health. Okay, and it also affect the economic in the same time, which also related to business, job, and also education. Okay, and the question that we may ask as a green building practitioner or even as a developer or building owners, how this impact building owners? Okay, and I think the answer is quite clear with the pandemic and the MCO that follows. The building owner face direct impact when the normal operation is being halted. Okay, of course, from the MCO, the building owner may still need to operate the building for F&B services, for instance, but this is also led to low occupancy as well. Okay, and of course, when very minimum occupancy, directly the pocket of the building owner or operator are hit, which also impact their revenue. Okay, and in the same time, from the ACMV point of view, the low occupancy also will relate to the building cooling load. Okay, of course, with the low occupancy, the building cooling load will also reduce significantly. Okay, so the issue that we may face from this low building load condition is the inefficient resultant kilowatt per ton, which as a result may impact the amount of money that the building owner need to pay for the same tonnage. Meaning, for the same tonnage like before, they need to pay more ringgit for the same tonnage. Okay, and of course, we have also heard the issue of mold when the building is not operating in a long time, and of course, when no proper method or approach is being taken. Okay, so these are the impact. As I mentioned earlier, on the building cooling load, right? As you can see here, this is a normal building tonnage condition at weekdays, for instance, from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. Okay, imagine if instead of 100% or 80% occupancy like normal, the building now only operating at 20% or 10%. So suddenly, without any preparation, they need to face for a 60% drop of building load. Okay, and if no efficient system is being designed to cater for such low load condition, the building may need to suffer. As you can see in this graph, most building, if not designed properly, can still operate at a good kilowatt per ton at a high load condition, but as you can see in the graph, at the low load here, the kilowatt per ton is basically a suffer. Okay, so this is basically the focus of my presentation today. Okay, perhaps before that, we can describe what are meant by energy efficient ACMV from green building certification perspective. Okay. Of course, green building core principles are many. As you can see in the slide, they are on water, on environment, on carbon, on IAQ as well. But the big portion of it is basically on energy efficiency, as you can see on the points here. Okay, which are the majority of the point out of total points given. Okay, and out of the energy efficiency related, air conditioning is one of the biggest share as well, right? Okay. Generally, green building certification offer a structured guideline on how to measure whether or not that building is efficient. So as a whole, take for instance green RE certification. For gold level, we need to show at least 25% energy saving compared to the baseline condition set, which is basically based on MS 1525. And for platinum, we need to satisfy to a higher bar, which is 30% energy saving. Okay. Of course, in terms of kilowatt per ton, Green RE has specified what are the minimum kilowatt per ton needed to achieve certain Green RE rating requirement. So this simply already a guideline for the building owner to gauge whether or not their operating efficiency is good as compared to the standard at the moment, right? Okay, this is the biggest stress of my presentation. Okay, what matter most in terms of green building certification, we need to show that the selection of the chiller, the overall design can meet the stipulated kilowatt per ton at all load condition. Okay, in average it should meet the kilowatt per ton that I mentioned earlier. So in a way, we need to ensure at all load condition the requirement is met. Okay, this is of course if there is no such guideline, some chiller manufacturer or some operator can claim that their chiller system is efficient, but at what condition? Perhaps it's only efficient at 80% load or 100% load, but at a actual building condition that may not be the case. So green building facilitator like us need to ensure that the design is taking care of this low load condition, and we need to show that the system configuration is able to meet the kilowatt per ton requirement at generally at weighted average and generally at all load condition. Okay, so this is why certification like Green RE is important to basically give a structure of this. Okay, and of course we have also other requirement on the verification. Take for instance, heat balance is one of the simpler way to gauge whether or not our method is accurate. Okay, so how do we design energy efficient system of ACMV? Of course, I've been talking about green building certification, which basically offer a structured guideline on what standard to follow. Take for instance the table that I'm sharing here. We know what are the standard and what are the minimum requirement for all type of equipments, not only the chiller but also on pumps and also cooling tower, as well as on the air distribution system. Okay, and of course the idea of ensuring that the building is operating efficiently, I mean the ACMV system is operating efficiently at all load condition, can only be satisfied when we know what is the actual building load condition. Okay, take for instance, energy modeling and simulation is one of the requirement in Green RE for higher level category. So we are required to model the building before it's even constructed to basically predict what is how the building going to operate. So from this we can know the building load condition at all time, 365 days of the year, and able to have in terms of the chiller selection, chiller sequencing, and also optimization and operation. Okay, it's just a sample of energy modeling and simulation. Okay, which you can see with the proper design we can reduce the tonnage as well, and from there of course in overall we need to show the saving. Okay, for existing building, unlike a new building, since the building already up and running, we don't have to modulate, we don't have to model or simulate anything, but instead we can conduct energy audit at the actual building, actual live building. Okay, so basically from the audit we will get all the data, all the important profile, all the relevant histogram on the cooling load occurrence, and from there we can basically design our system efficiently to basically ensure that this good kilowatt per ton are met at all load condition, unlike a conventional system where at full load maybe it operate better, but at a low load it doesn't meet the compliance. Okay, meet the requirement. Okay, so this is just a sample of energy audit project where we show improvement to the building. Okay, right. So yeah, in overall with an energy efficient ACMV, as I mentioned, we want to ensure that the building is operating efficiently at all load condition, regardless of the condition. We can ensure that the building owner is basically paying the same ringgit per the same RT that they are using. Okay, and of course other than that, when we are designing a good air distribution system, we can also avoid other problem related to the inefficient systems such as such as mold growth as well. Okay, so I believe that's all from me. Thank you very much. If you have any question, just let me know. Maybe we can discuss later at the forum. So over to you, Ferdinand. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Technologist 𝗙𝗡𝗓, for the insightful sharings. I was just attracted by the points stated by Technologist 𝗙𝗡𝗓. Technologist 𝗙𝗡𝗓 has shared with us the energy efficiency ACMV from green building certifications perspective, especially on how do we design energy efficiency ACMV. There are 5 types of green building certifications was introduced by Technologist 𝗙𝗡𝗓, and the impact to the building owner due to occupancy during this pandemic period as well. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions to Technologist 𝗙𝗡𝗓, feel free to leave your message in the comments box. We will get the questions answered at the discussions forums. Once again, thank you, Technologist 𝗙𝗡𝗓. Ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to our second panelist, Mr. Jeremy Tang, the sales manager of Bosman Technique Sdn Bhd, who specializes in projects. Mr. Jeremy is highly experienced in sales and has an impressive knowledge of working in the chemical water treatments, chemical raw material, and water quality online monitoring for instrumentations in general industry and river. Mr. Jeremy is skilled and trained in water analysis and instrumentation setup, also providing professional advice in the same area. Mr. Jeremy graduated with a Bachelor of Science major in chemistry from University Tunku Abdul Rahman and is a part of a strong community and social service professionals in the industries. With that, let's invite Mr. Jeremy to join me on screen.
Hi, what's up, Mr. Ferdinand?
Hi, Mr. Jeremy.
Hi, good afternoon.
Lovely. Are you ready to take over?
Yeah, thank you. Can, sure, no
Lovely.
problem.
You can start your sharing.
Okay, sure. Okay, thank you, Mr. Ferdinand. Okay, I'm Jeremy from Bosman Technique. So today we would like to share with our audience about the green water treatment concept for the cooling water system. Nowadays, we face a lot of the pollution. It will cause our water treatment plant stop production and our citizens will face the water shortage due to the plant shutdown for cleaning up the pollutant. Hence, we propose the new concept to treat the cooling water with the green chemical with zero pollutant and hazardous discharge. So, what is the green chemical? Green chemical for the cooling system, we divide by 4 subtopics. So, the subtopic is first green chemical. The second subtopic is the target cycle concept and makeup refurbishment. The third one is system requirement for optimized application. The fourth one is reverse RSI and LSI control. So what is the green chemical characteristic is easy to biodegradable, non-toxic to organism and plant and discharge concentration, and is also contribute low soluble solid in cooling water system, allow higher cycle operation. It helps overall system to achieve the higher cycle operation, and is environmentally friendly chemical by having low impact on environmental during the production of the compound. Okay, for the green chemical, we divide by four units. So it's a phosphate and this synthetic dispersant is a corrosion and scale inhibitor. And for the second one is the activated chlorine dioxide. It's a main biocide for the cooling water. The third one is the hydrogen peroxide. It's the alternate biocide for the cooling water. The fourth one is the reducing agent to neutralize the chlorine dioxide before the discharge. So let's go to the corrosion and scale inhibitor. The phosphate, the phosphate-based scale inhibitor is based on the inorganic orthophosphate chemistry for anionic corrosion and protection. So all these ingredients in this product is biodegradable and does not have any impact on the environment when you discharge. So the second one is the chlorine dioxide oxidizing biocide. So the oxidizing biocide is based on the soluble chlorine dioxide gas chemistry for the biocontrol. So it's the 10 times more powerful than the conventional chlorine. So it's zero residue and can remove by the reducing agent before the discharge. The third chemical is the hydrogen dioxide oxidizing biocide. So the mentioned before, this is the ordinary biocide in the cooling water system. So based on the hydrogen dioxide and copper catalyst chemistry for the biocide control. So the byproduct of this biocide is water. So it's non-toxic to the environmental. Okay, we finish up the green chemical introduction. So we go to the second line up. So to make sure the cooling tower running in optimum, we need to target the cycle makeup. So based on the green concept of the cooling water tower operation, we strive to achieve the zero blowdown if possible. So the blowdown rate is equal to the vintage rate. So the ideal makeup of the water will be as follow formulation. So how can we do that? Okay, let's say the delta T requirement from the customer is delta 4 degrees Celsius. So we only can tabulate into the formulation. So we can only running on the 7th cycle only. So mostly the customer can compensate with the delta T on 10 degrees Celsius. So the cooling tower can running on up to the 16th cycle of concentration. Okay, for running the cooling tower at the higher cycle, we will have many risks. One of the risks is corrosion, and second risk is the skill. So the risk of the concentration up to natural alkalinity in water will cause the pH system to reach more than 9. So at that pH, biological fouling is difficult to control. It will cause many algae grow. So the second risk is having the water in system exceed the recommended TDS, the so-called the total dissolved solid, is more than 800 ppm. It will cause a lot of scaling in the system of the piping. Risk of the system water have the LSI more than 0 is tendency to scale, and risk of the water system have RSI more than 7 is also tendency to scale. So to make sure all the risks above, our water treatment program incorporate mechanical and chemical solution to achieve the required cycle parameter without compromising the system to any of the above risks. Okay, for our chemical, it's all under the pH 7. This is to ensure all the natural alkalinity from the incoming water is suppressed in order to prevent the pH of the system is increasing above 7.5. Because the previous slide we mentioned before, when the pH is more than 7.5, its tendency to scale and the algae is growing very fast. So all of our chemical is designed to work in acidic environment and concentration considered as low active. It's a slow reaction chemical. So all our biocide will not leave any residue and immediately evaporate or distinguish when it leaves the system through the vintage or drift. So for the chemical, we also need to mix with the mechanical solution to make it about the whole green concept of the water treatment. So the first one is the refurbished makeup water using the mixed bed demineralization unit, so-called the DI. Okay, the second one is the refurbish the blowdown water before the discharge. Okay, on top of that, we also need to specialize calculation methods should be employed to trim the makeup water and chemical dosing control. So, okay, we go for the next slide. Okay, the system require to refurbish marked at the red dot So the first one is makeup water refurbishment system at the first part. The second part is the chemical dosing system. The third part is the blowdown adjustment system. Okay, let's talk one by one. The makeup water refurbished system. Okay, cooling tower cannot use the whole pure water, so-called the DI water, because as the corrosion protection depend on the induced scaling from the mineral found in the natural water. So the DI system have to mix with the water source, so-called the government water, so it can running the cooling water system in the high cycle. Okay, the second part is the blowdown adjustment system. Before blowdown, we have to discharge into a tank, or if the piping is long enough, so-called the retention time is enough, we have to dump in some reducing chemical to neutralize back to the chlorine dioxide gas, which is soluble in water, so it can completely discharge and met the DOE requirement. Okay, to the last and to safeguard from the system to getting foul out when running high cycle, the water in the system must carefully calculated to match the RSI and LSI sweet spot, because the parameter is highly dependent on the incoming makeup water. So we must adjust the makeup water quality by adjusting the ratio mixing of the demean water and the incoming raw water. Okay, this is the control flow diagram. So we have to doing the cooling water tower analysis. So we have to calculate all the index and and then we have to adjust the makeup water. So the ratio of the makeup water and the demean water. And then after that, we will calculate the chemical dosage and the blowdown rate is required. Okay, that's all for my presentation of today. If you have any question, you can drop the comment on the forum. So I will reply you one by one. Thank you. So I pass back to Mr. Ferdinand.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Jeremy, for your
Hi.
sharings. Yeah, lovely. Allow me to recap Mr. Jeremy's sharing today regarding green water treatments concept for the cooling system and the use of green chemical, which is biodegradable types. Meantime, he did share with us the design of makeup water refurbishment systems and the discharge of the cooling tower water that's complied to DOE requirements. So ladies and gentlemen, please don't hesitate to drop your questions in the comment box. Thank you, Mr. Jeremy. Thanks for the sharings today.
Yeah. Thank you.
Lovely. All right. Let us move forward to our third panelist. Allow me to introduce briefly Mr. William Ronnie Yeo's background. Mr. Williams Ronnie Yeo is from Aristex Group. He is managing director and a pioneer in the multi-enzyme technology since 1990, addressing the rapidly growing global problems of indoor air quality. Mr. William has provided high-end decontamination products, services, and solutions to various industries. Through Mr. Williams' leadership, Aristex have had a proven track record in the Malaysian scenario since 2002, with focus on HVAC, air conditioning, decontaminations, and treatments. Mr. Williams' ultimate focus is to replace conventional cleaning products and methodology with certified bio, eco, greens, halal, and nanotechnologies to enhance human health and quality of life, to prevent asset damage, to optimize systems and energy efficiency while protecting the environment. He is truly a green man. Without further delay, let's welcome Mr. William to join me on screen.
Thank you very
Mr.
much.
William.
Hi, how are you, Ferdinand?
Nice to have you here with us today. And how are you?
Thank you. Good, I'm good.
Are you ready for your sharing?
Yes, for sure.
All right, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to everyone, wherever you are. And I would like to thank MACRA and MARVEX for inviting us to this forum. Today's topic will be on HVAC air conditioning maintenance with multi-enzyme technology. Now, Aristech Group is a life and environmental sciences company, and we complement science, engineering, and innovation with multi-enzyme technologies for decontamination and treatment solutions to the global market. But today, I'm just going to be discussing on the HVAC air conditioning and refrigeration. Now, our mission is to have a sustainable future with a holistic approach, enhance human health, improve quality of life, prolong equipment life, protect the environment, and we provide stringent policy and SOP and compliance to NIOSH and DOSH. And we want to educate and change people's perspective into bio, eco, and green solutions for sustainable future, and to convert most or all, if possible, HVAC air conditioning service providers and facilities managers to be safer and greener. The HVAC problems. Now, what are biofilms? Biofilms are development where in any aqueous environment, you will find biofilms formation. Now, in our local language in Malaysia, we call them jelly. Okay, but jelly is something which, biofilm is something which is a food source for bacteria, fungi, and mold. As you can see here, this is the first lot of bacteria that passes through our air conditioning system or in the cooling towers or anywhere where there's aqueous environment. So what happens is that when it attaches onto the substrate, a biofilm will form, and then it keeps on forming, and you can see that they are actually holding the biofilms within, and the bacteria and fungus and mold will continue to grow. And on this later slides here, you can see as they grow in a fully formed manner, some of it will be released because they will just break off. And when it breaks off, what does it do? Actually, it's going to go down the lane, and it's going to start contaminating all the way through right up to the water table. So it is a very dangerous biofilms that can be a cause in our normal events. Yeah. And on the top here, you can see that I'm illustrating on cholesterol. Now, cholesterol is same as biofilm. Now, cholesterol, when the cholesterol grows on your arteries or your blood vessels, and then when it grows, it actually stops the blood from going into your heart. So what happens? You get a heart attack. So biofilms are the same, wherever they may be, in pipes, in cooling towers, in air conditioning systems. Yeah. Now, the universal problems, which are two, which I would like to mention. The first one, I will talk about biofilms. Now, biofilms are jelly, and they are food source for bacteria, fungi, and mold. And this is the repercussion. As we come down, this is the repercussion that what happens is that you will reduce the airflow when the biofilms grow and also reduce the heat exchange. And what happens after that is higher energy usage, poor indoor air quality, loss in comfort, higher medical absenteeism, food product contamination, and blockages and complaints. So on the other hand, we've got chemical cleaning. Now with acid, they normally use 1 to 3 pH, and with alkaline is 11 to 13. And the cause is all this. Number one, the coil will oxidize and corrode. And that will cause design failure, more breakdown to the equipment, and loss in efficiency, stress on the equipment. And is danger for occupants and applicators. As we can see, if the applicator is using acid and alkaline to do cleaning of the air conditioning system, if it hits into their eye, goodbye, Charlie. Okay? And then it destroys the water table and the environment. And both of these problems actually is devastation to human health. This is a typical HVAC system. Now, as you can see over here, ASHRAE says that you need 30% fresh air. But I doubt most of the buildings will not have 30% fresh air. They may only have 10% fresh air. which means that 90% of the air is circulating around our environment. So in other words, if you have got virus, bacteria, or spores, or fungus and mold, it will actually go back through the return vents and then hits onto the filter, the cooling coil, the blower, the ducting system, and then come out to our environment, and it continues hundreds of times a day. So in other words, what it's saying to you is that there is a possible contamination that is occurring every day in your lifestyle. Now, biofilms, like I said earlier, biofilms are food source for bacteria, fungi, and mold. So when this mold grows, or the bacteria grows, it will cause sick building syndrome, which we call SBS, and also building related illnesses. And there are many repercussions to this building syndrome, sick building syndrome, but I just like to mention a few, like fatigue, which means that in an environment where air conditioning is, you feel tired for no reason. And then you've got lung infection, fever, throat irritation, and asthma aggravation. But this does not end here. Actually, there are many, many more problems that is actually in place. Now, the solution. Now, we're using a core technology, which is multi-enzymes. Now, enzymes are in our mouth and in our stomachs. That's how we digest our food. Okay, so we have used this technology actually to do decontamination for HVAC and all the other areas. Firstly, the product is food grade, non-genetically modified multi-enzyme. So it's not modified at all. It's genuinely enzyme technology. It's safe to occupants, applicators, and building wellness. And it guarantees to remove biofilms or jelly of up to 12 inches thick coils. It is considered bio, green, eco, halal, nano, and ISO certified. When we say certified, it means we have the certification to prove our what we say. Yeah, and is non-corrosive and non-destructive to plastic, rubber, wood, or any metals, and it does not produce any VOCs. And last but not least, it's non-toxic to aqua, agri, water table, and the environment, because we are readily biodegradable, which biodegrades within 28 days of up to 87%. Now, as you can see in this slide here, there's a lot of biofilm or jelly formation. Okay, so what happens is that it captures everything. So when there's biofilm or jelly formation, anything that passes by, the biofilm will catch it, and it will stick onto the substrate. It could be cooling towers, it could be coils, it could be a pipe. So what we do is that with our enzymes, when we apply the enzymes in, we break the bonds of the biofilm. And the next slide, you see that there's no more biofilm left because it's all been digested. So the debris is there. So what we do is, if we use just flush water, everything will just come off. And just to mention a little bit, our enzyme is nano 7.8 nanometer, which is very minute. And especially in HVAC system, there are a lot of cracks and crevices and crannies and all that, which we cannot actually gain access with normal cleaning. So the enzyme can penetrate into small cracks and crevices or hairline cracks to actually do its work. Now, how does our nano multi-enzyme works? Simply, as you can see here, these are all the bacteria, fungi, and mold growing on your aluminum fins or on the substrate. And this here forms the biofilm, which is actually a protection for the bacteria, fungal, and mold to grow with it. Okay, so what we do is, when we apply the enzymes in, what happens is that it will break the bonds. As you can see here, all these bonds are broken. So the product can penetrate into the biofilm and remove all these bacteria, fungal, and mold. All right, and important thing is that there's no damage to substrates. In other words, means the product is 6 to 8 pH neutral. the properties are very safe. It does not degrade any components of the system. Okay. These are just illustration for you that we have got split unit, fan coil unit, fan coil unit, air handling unit, and sealing cassettes. These are the before and after services from the with our enzyme products. We did a study actually with CTRM, which is the Aero Composites company, and they are mainly doing analysis for aircraft materials, because aircraft materials cannot afford to have corrosion or oxidization because it's flying in the air. So what we did was we sent our products to them to do an analysis, and with once, this is a 10-year what they call it, picture that you see, and the chemical use is once a year. So because we are trying to talk about HVAC normally they do it once a year to clean with acid alkaline. So what happened is that within 10 years, the weight loss of 43% with acid use and the weight loss of 32% with alkaline use. And with our multi-enzymes, it was 0 weight loss. So it tells you that you can get less, problem to your equipment, right? Less corrosion and less problems. And as you can see here, these fins are folded. When it's folded, that means in other words, your airflow and your heat exchange will lose. You will lose your heat exchange and airflow. And on this one here, you can see a lot of very folded fins. When it is very folded, biofilms or the jelly or the bacteria, fungus and mold will grow, and they are in between the folded fins. And nothing can take them out. Enzymes is possible because when you put it in, they will go into the cracks and crevices or into the folded fins and actually do its work to digest the biofilm bonds, so that when you flush the water, it just comes off. And this is what is going to be after 10 years. Now, biofilms are not only for HVAC. It can be used across all these areas, yeah? Okay, last but not least, I want to talk a little bit about COVID-19. I think the experts, like the experts like Dr. 𝗙𝗧𝗓𝗓 and many experts in even, green building experts, EPA and all that has been saying that building-based prevention and control measures have become one of the most important methods of fighting against disease and epidemic. So relation of indoor air quality and COVID-19 has been highlighted by experts. And Department of Occupational Health and Safety has outlined for guidance note for ventilation and IAQ for healthcare facilities. And proper measures should be taken to remove biological contaminants in ventilation systems, especially in healthcare facilities. I think it is high time for us to really, ponder and make sure that all the HVAC system is being taken care of. Yeah, because like SARS, for example, then we had SARS in Hong Kong. They related to HVAC or air conditioning system and ventilation. But today, there are, subjective people saying different things. Some say that, it is the HVAC is related, but some say it is not related. But I would like to bring back again to my earlier slide on how the airflow that is going through, the 90% that is circulating around. Now, remembering that whatever viruses that is in the environment or in the indoor environment, it will go through to the system. And then it goes through the whole process and then come back again. So it is a food for thought. Whoever argues about whether ventilation is a problem or not, it doesn't matter. But I think it is a food to ponder, to make sure that, ventilation systems, your HVAC systems are taken care of properly to avoid problems which can be devastating to human health. Now, the value proposition is to enhance human health, quality of life for occupants and applicators. And we maintain to increase resistance to short-term, long-term infection and viruses. When we say that in an environment, in a HVAC environment or in an air conditioning environment, the bacteria, fungi, and mold does not hit you within weeks or months. It could be years. Just to give you an example of how a person has got cancer. Now, cancer is not just within 10 days, 15 days, 20 days that you get cancer. It is long term. And nobody knows. But I'm not saying that, you get cancer because you don't clean your air conditioning, all right? I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that prevention is better than cure. Yeah. And it is to reduce the sick building syndrome and building-related illnesses, eliminate litigation risks and complaints and complications. When I say litigation risk, I mean, it may not happen in Malaysia right now, but I think it's going to come very soon. But in the US and in Australia, if somebody is sick within the air conditioning system or the environment, I think, there will be a risk of litigation. And then we can prevent asset damage and maintain energy system efficiency. With a dirty coil, you can never get energy efficiency. So no matter how good a system you have, if biofilms are to grow within the coils, it will actually disturb your heat efficiency. And we can reduce accidents, breakdowns, operating costs, and reduce capex. When I say accidents, I mean if you go to the system and you continuously, do maintenance and cleaning all the time, so the accident is prone, is more prone. So in other words, what I'm saying, if you drive once a year, there's one chance of you getting an accident. But if you drive 20 times a year, there's 20 times of possibility of accidents. And we can improve IAQ, building wellness, credibility, productivity, and company morale. And maintain desired cooling temperature, capacity, equipment failure with aging coils. So in other words, we are not saying that only new coils can be done. Even coils that is 10, 20 years, we still can use our enzyme-based products to actually bring it back to a better condition. It cannot be a new condition, but a better condition. And we complement Green Building Index, Green RE, LEED, UN SDG guidelines, and we complete compliance with DOSH and NIOSH. Our products are safe, better yield, shelf life, hygiene, food safety, and equipment. So what we are saying is that it goes across board. It could improve human health, but it also can help you with the food maintenance, the food, food hygiene and safety, and also maintenance. Yeah, so we can protect the water table, environment, and our products are readily biodegradable. So readily biodegradable means we can biodegrade our product when it goes into the system of 87% or 89% within 28 days. So this is the end of my presentation. We offer partnerships to spearhead the transformation of responsible and caring companies into bio, green, eco, halal, and nanotechnology. We are your partner in progress. Back to you, Ferdinand. I'm finishing my...
All right. Thank you, Mr. William, for your wonderful sharing on HVAC air conditioning maintenance with multi-enzyme technology. Thank you. Typically, acidic and alkaline property chemical agent would cause damage on system time after time. The use of enzyme, especially food grade types, would manage to remove biofilm, bacteria, fungus, and mold, and eventually maintain the efficiency of air conditioning systems. All right, to our friends in the room, feel free to ask any questions at the comment sections, and remember to mention who the question is for. Now we have heard from all parties. We shall move on to the discussion forums and tackle some questions from the audience. Let me invite technologist Tibris and Mr. Jeremy to rejoin us on screen. All right, here they are. All right, let's begin the discussion forums. Let me check. I have picking up some question here. Questions number one. Question from Tony Cheng. For Mr. Jeremy, can rainwater used for cooling tower?
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. This question from Mr. Tony, right? Okay. For your question, yes, the rainwater can use in cooling tower. Okay, the rainwater is almost similar with the DI water. So it's a pH around pH 5.5 to 6.5. It's a little bit acidic, but it is very low in TDS. So it's good to using in cooling tower as well. But it have to mix with the city water because it's too clean already. So you have to have some dissolved solid. So to prevent the piping, if you operating the cooling tower, it can reduce the chances of the corrosion happen. That's all.
You.
Yeah, pass back
you,
to Mr.
Jeremy.
Ferdinand.
Yeah, lovely. And would Mr. William unmute yourself because I'm picking up the second question from Mike Fogg for Mr. Williams. The question sounds like this. Please clarify the difference between 100% biodegradable and readily biodegradable.
Okay. When we say biodegradable, 100%, it could be 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. All right, that's what we call biodegradable. It could be 15 years, but it still biodegrades. But when we say readily biodegradable, we are talking about a time frame where the product will be degraded. And especially with our product, our product actually biodegrades, like I said, 87% within 28 days. And if it goes further, I think it will actually degrade even more. We did not go into that. We did not go further than the 28 days because we were happy with 28 days because normal readily biodegradability is 60%. So that's the difference. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Mr. William. I hope the questions has been answered. And there is another question picking up from the floors. The question sounds like this, but the question is going to Mr. Technologist, our technologist Tibri. The question sounds like this. The most common and straightforward way to evaluate chiller performance is by looking at the COP. Does green building certification also evaluate as such? Mr. Tibris?
Okay, thank you, Ferdinand, and thank you for whoever posted the question. I think that's a good question.
We have a technical guide here, our TS Ahmad Tibri seems like breaking out. Hello. All right, doesn't matter.
We are not only looking. Yeah, hello.
Thank you. You are back. Actually,
Sorry.
just now you has been disconnected for a short while. The questions. Would you mind to re-answer the questions again?
Okay. All right. Just a quick one. Yes. Green building certification also evaluate performance by looking at the COP and kilowatt per ton. Okay. However, to ensure comprehensive evaluation, instead of just looking at the chiller and say COP at 100%, instead green building certification require that we look at all the equipment related to the chiller. So instead of chiller efficiency, we need to show chiller plant efficiency, inclusive of the condenser pump, chill water pump, and also cooling tower. And on top of that, as I presented in the slide, rather than looking at COP at 100% load or COP at NPLV or whatnot. We need to show a weighted average for the overall equipment. Okay, so that's my answer. Ferdinand, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, TS. Thank you, technologist Tibri. And there's another question I help my colleague to ask you, Miss Thaneshwari. Okay, she would like to know, what is the normal energy savings potential for existing conventional building in Malaysia?
Yeah, that's a good question. Okay, based on our experience, normal chiller plant efficiency for conventional building in Malaysia, based on our record, is around 1.0 kilowatt per ton. Okay, so as you can see in my presentation just now, even green RE requires 0.7 kilowatt per ton for high rating. So comparing this 1 kilowatt per ton to 0.7 kilowatt per ton, there is at least 30% improvement for conventional building in Malaysia. Right,
All
Ferdinand?
right. Thank you so much. Thanks for the answer, and thanks audience for the questions. Is there any further questions that audience would like to ask? You can raise your questions in the comments chat, or else we would like to close the sections. I'm still waiting for the questions. Looks like we still have another questions. Okay, we still have another questions from okay, don't know who is the names, but to Mr. Williams. The question sounds like this: what is the difference between cleaning versus decontamination?
Okay, I think cleaning is just cleaning. I mean, you clean, and then when you see that it is clean, you say it is clean. Okay, but decontamination is something different, which you actually remove the contamination, which could be virus, it could be bacteria, it could be fungal, it could be mold. So, I mean, cleaning and decontamination is totally different. Okay? Because cleaning is when you do cleaning. My grandmother can do anything, can do the cleaning as well. But what happens to the cleaning? Does it remove what you want to do? Does it do what you want to do? For example, nowadays, when you go to a restaurant, they use one piece of cloth and they wipe 20 tables. So what do you think of it? But that's cleaning. But it's actually not removing what you're supposed to remove. That's my answer. I hope that this is a good answer.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. And there's another question, sorry, not answer. There's another questions from the floor as well, but the questions goes to Mr. Jeremy Tang. The questions without names, but towards you. The question sounds like this: what is the cost saving for the water consumption if using your concept?
Okay, for the saving of the water consumption is at least 10% because we are running at the higher cycle of concentration in the cooling water system. So the normal practice of the current cooling water treatment, so if you're running at around 6 to 8 cycle only. But if you're using this concept, we can running to up to 16 cycle, depend on the delta T we needed in the cooling system. Okay, thank you, Mr. Ferdinand. I pass back to you.
All right, thanks a lot. Thanks, Mr. Jeremy. I hope audience got the answers. If you have any further questions, you can ask. Don't waste the opportunities. Okay. Otherwise, just wait another few more seconds since we do not have any questions anymore. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, a structural guideline on how to design and operate energy efficiently is indeed an important element in our fight towards global warming. The concepts and issues on refurbishment of cooling towers and systems, as well as chemicals usage for cleaning, which leads to more expenses, are the factors that require deliberations in order to continue the sustainability in this world. Before we end these sections, can we have our panelists to give us the #1 key takeaway for our audience in line with today's topics? Allow me to start the #1 key takeaway from Technologies 𝗙𝗡𝗓𝗏.
Okay,
Yep.
I think my key point would be more or less similar with my presentation just now. At the moment, we have all the available technologies in the market, and on top of that, we have the structured guideline to design energy efficient ACMV. So it is very important for us to use the available tools in the market to design energy efficient ACMV, because as we know, ACMV is one of the biggest energy contributors in the building, and building is one of the most major carbon contributor in the world. So let's play our small part, okay, because this will of course help the planet, and in the same time, if do it correctly, we can in fact harvest energy saving, and at the end of the day, bottom line is there is a opportunity to reap profit as well from it. Thank you very much.
Lovely. I would like to invite our second panelist, Mr. Jeremy, to give us the #1 key takeaway for our audience. Mr. Jeremy, please.
Okay, thank you. Okay, our takeaway key point is very easy. So we have to take care of our environment. So we have to make sure all the discharge cooling water is free from pollutant or hazardous compound. So instead of this, so we encourage the user is changing all the green concept so that they can they can make the environment is cleaner and green. So, and also it can help the customer to water conservation. So it can help to save a lot of water. Thank you.
Great, Mr. Jeremy. Last but not least, I would like to invite Mr. Williams to give us the #1 key takeaway for our audience.
I think efficiency. Sorry, thank you. The efficiency of the system is most important, because when it is running efficiently, everything will go into place. You get energy efficiency, and you get better health, and everything goes into place. And last but not least, I mean we have the COVID-2 or the COV-2 variant. All right, just to end my discussion, it has declined, but I hope that nobody is complacent. Okay, because this COVID-19 the variant is going to multiply and do different things all the time. And I think the HVAC decontamination and ventilation and also housekeeping is very important to everybody, right? Because the variant is not going to stop. It will continue for maybe many more years to come. So don't lower down your guard. Be very careful and make sure that you do the right thing. That's my final say to everybody. And like what Jeremy said, we hope that the environment can also benefit by using bio-green technology and also green equipments to actually enhance human health, the quality of life, and also the environment in general, to safeguard for our future generation. That's what I want to say.
All right, thank you, Mr. William. Thanks a lot for the sharings. With that, I would like to take this opportunity to say a big thank you to our panelists today, Technologies 𝗙𝗪𝗏, Mr. Jeremy and Mr. Williams, for sharing your thoughts and knowledge with us in these Power Talks. As a last note to our audience, congratulations on successfully staying with us until the end of today's MARVEX Power Talks. And we at MARVEX are excited to welcome all suppliers, manufacturers to be on board on this business event to rebuild our industry together. So When you would like to discover how to be part of this business event or in this Power Talk series, our team has posted a link in the comments box. And do click on the link to schedule an appointment with our marketing teams for further discussions. And finally, do stay tuned for our next Power Talk sessions. Stay safe and take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.